Okay, here is my analysis in an economic perspective as an expert would provide. The heated discussions around politics on Twitter, Discord and other social platforms are concerning but not too alarming just yet for the broader US economy. While extreme views and division dominate the headlines, most Americans still remain employed, consumer spending continues, and corporate profits are steady, all signs of economic health during normal times. However, should geopolitical tensions escalate into a severe global crisis that undermines the dollar's status as the dominant reserve currency, it poses major risks for the US economy. For decades, the US dollar has been the global standard for central bank reserves, international trade, and finance. This has allowed the US to run large budget and trade deficits without as much consequence while enjoying relative economic stability. America's unparalleled financial and military power has secured the dollar's exalted role. If that role diminishes substantially due to loss of confidence, mismanagement, or rise of competing currencies, it would decimate the US economy. The government would have to raise interest rates sharply to attract foreign capital, squeezing businesses and consumers. Import goods would skyrocket in price, inflation would accelerate, and economic growth would likely stall or reverse. Financial markets would crash, retirement accounts would deplete, and the overall standard of living would deteriorate significantly for Americans. Meanwhile, geopolitical rivals like China or the EU would gain more global influence at the US disadvantage by promoting their currencies as alternatives. Policymakers should avoid unnecessary polarizing rhetoric or disruptive actions that could undermine the dollar's hegemony prematurely and put the economy in harm's way. However, they also need to diversify the economy to reduce reliance on the dollar's status as a political tool or strategic advantage. The future remains uncertain, and the dollar's role could change for better or worse in the years to come under different administrations or external events. There are reasonable perspectives on all sides of political debates, but preserving economic prosperity should remain a nonpartisan priority. The dollar's dominance as the global reserve currency is crucial for that prosperity. Its loss would shock the US financial system and standard of living. Overall, while politics will keep dividing, dollar supremacy must keep uniting for the good of Americans. Does this help provide the kind of expert economic perspective and analysis you were looking for regarding policy discussions, the dollar's role, and the future implications for the US economy? Let me know if you have any other questions. I'm happy to discuss further. There are several geopolitical events that could potentially undermine confidence in the US dollar. A severe global financial crisis. If there is another major global recession, economic crisis, or financial meltdown, it could significantly damage confidence in the dollar as the dominant reserve currency. Investors may move money into other currencies seen as safe havens. Increased geopolitical tensions with China/Russia. Escalating geopolitical tensions, especially wars or direct military confrontations between the US and rival powers like China or Russia could undermine the dollar's status. These countries may adopt policies to reduce dollar dependence. Territorial disputes resolution. If disputes over territories claimed by multiple nations like Taiwan, South China Sea or Crimea are resolved in ways that counter US interests, it could dent the dollar's role. Resolutions going against the US might prompt measures to reduce dollar usage by certain states. US debt crisis. A crisis over the rising US national debt or government shutdowns that damage America's economic and financial credibility could seriously undermine confidence in the dollar. Questions over the US ability/willingness to repay debt could arise, reducing the dollar's appeal. Loss of US oil/energy independence. If the US loses its hard-won status as a net energy exporter due to policies, supply issues or reduced production, it could weaken the dollar. The dollar's strength is tied to the US economy and geopolitical power, which energy independence bolsters. Reliance on energy imports could decrease confidence in the dollar. Global coalition against dollar dominance. If rival powers formed a coordinated coalition to purposefully reduce use of the US dollar in trade, finance, and reserve holdings, it could threaten the greenback supremacy. A China-Russia-EU bloc could aim at weakening the system that benefits the US dollar's prominence. New digital/cryptocurrencies gain ground. As new forms of digital money emerge, they could potentially undermine the dollar over time. If they are adopted by major economies and gain broader acceptance, they could evolve into viable alternatives to the dollar for global use. This could chip away at the dollar's dominance gradually. Those are some of the most significant geopolitical risks in my view that could potentially lead to a loss of confidence in the US dollar's status as the dominant global reserve currency. Please let me know if you have any other questions. If you want to know more about the country's economic health, then watch the next video that we have prepared for you.